A woman becomes a reflection of how you treat her. If you don't like how she's acting, look at how you treat her. So it's a great pleasure to organize a webinar on webinar on stress management, resilience, and living. And Women Cell is privileged to organize this particular webinar. PB Siddhartha College of Arts and Science considered it as a great pleasure and honor to organize this webinar on stress management, resilience, and living. I'm pleased to invite our principal, Dr. M. Ramesh, to this webinar. I consider it as my honor to ask him to propose a welcome note.
Staff members, students, and other participants to this webinar on stress management, learning, so-called, and resilience and living. So this is the right time. Actually, I appreciate the Women Empowerment Cell for organizing this type of the wonderful session webinar today, which is useful to particularly to the students and other communities also. So it is actually it's a very right time. Why I'm saying that it is the right time. So during these difficult times of Corona, everyone is facing so many stress, so much of stress, depending on their the family members and the involvement of their family members, or financial problems, or because of the online classes to the students, or and other type of the stresses are there. So many days, so many problems are there nowadays. All the families are facing. So this is the right juncture actually to conduct this type of the so-called webinar on stress management. So my heartful so-called thanks to the Madam Anita Peter, who is a multifaceted personality and so-called she is a biker also, dancer, and I have seen so many things of her credentials, so-called. I heartily welcome you, madam. If possible, once you visit our institution also to address our students physically. We have the more than 3,500 students in our college. So you are half of them girls, students, so you can address them freely, the boys also. So whenever you are possible, you are free. You are free to come to our institution at any moment. We make the arrangements for your session, madam. I thank very much for your joining today this webinar, and I hope all the students will get benefit from this webinar. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Sir, now I would like to introduce Anita Peter, ma'am, to all the participants and the viewers. And it's my honor to introduce Anita Peter, who is a renowned author, reputed Mohiniyattam dancer, a very able facilitator for organizational development, leadership skill development, and etc. She has organized awareness programs on social relevance. She is an embodiment of honesty and sincerity. Her 20 years of experience in management of organization proved her an able and an effective organizer. As a facilitator, she always strives for fulfilling the expectations of the clients. And to mention a few, I would like to give you a list of few companies for what she has already worked. Project Management Institute, Rock Salt Interactive Games Private Limited, Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge, Empowering the Youth of Telangana, Studio 11, State Bank of India, HP, Dell, Accenture, ICICI OneSource, AXA, etc. She is a professional Mohiniyattam dancer too. She choreographed a few performances and performed on prestigious platforms across India. And she is a founder of Lasya Dhruta Center for Performing Arts and Fine Arts, Hyderabad. title To Win the Battle, Stay Alive. It's a very motivating book and which is launched on 10 December 2020. And it's a very remarkable book which covers the problems of women, and then understanding of struggles of the mind after depression, the way ahead. And the concluding poem in this particular book is very inspiring, and it's a heart of the book, I can say. And this is a brief introductory part about Anita ma'am. It's my pleasure to introduce you, ma'am, today. And I really thank you for accepting our invitation. And now I would like to ask you to address the gathering, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this nice opportunity to introduce you, ma'am, to the students.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shanta. It's very nice of you to say all that you said about me, and I hope I'm able to give each one watching today something that they could take home and hold on to move on during these tough times. So, with this, I would like to say, let's begin today. It's a wonderful morning, I would say, a lovely Tuesday. The weather is really nice, okay, not sunny, it's not raining, and it's a perfect, I think, perfect for us to learn something, to understand something, and so perfect for us to ensure that we have a new beginning or a restart in our lives. So I now request the slides to be displayed. Today, what we are going to talk about is stress management and also resilience as well as living. Now, the first thing that we need to understand is what is stress. You may change the slide. What is stress? So it's very funny, actually. If you look at this little cartoon here, it is one of my favorite cartoons. You'll see the first saying that I used to be so stressed out about work. And then what he says is, now I'm just stressed about how do I manage my stress. So I'm stressed about work, but now I'm more stressed about how do I go about managing my stress. So stress is something that is so much a part of us, and it's not going to leave us at any point of time. So what is stress? If I was to go with each alphabet of what is stress, this is something I have always thought to myself. S for self. Anything that is concerning us and we are getting really uncomfortable with dealing, that would be, it's all about self. Self is uncomfortable. So, what happens is we start torturing ourselves literally to a point that it comes in the way of our daily functioning. And once it comes in the way of our daily functioning, we go on to R, that is, we refuse to see or explore any option while we are struggling to find solutions. So that's exactly what stress is all about. That is, we torture ourselves and we refuse to look about what are the options. So many a times I have come across people who are very curious and also very anxious to know how can I go on with my life so that I do not have stress. I would say that is a very wishful thinking. Now, it depends upon what you can take and what you cannot. A simple job that we plan to do, let's take a simple task like waking up in the morning and getting ready for college, whether you are a professor or whether you are a student. Now, waking up on time, you have certain things that you have to get done, and then you have to get ready and just get out of your house. But what is it that we have to do to reach that level of getting out of our house so mentally prepared that we are ready to function with all energy at the same time, give 100% to everything that we do? Now, that is something that we need to go back. Okay, so the only task I'm taking now is to get out of your house and reach your institution and to do your job really well. But to get that done, let's go back. you need to know what you are going to wear, first of all. Before that, you need to have your breakfast. Before that, you need to know what happened the previous day, and you need to also be prepared enough for the day that you are getting out for. So, and before that, you need to wake up on time. And before that, you need to sleep on time, right? And in between all this, you have to also have enough nutrition, enough water to make sure that you are healthy enough to set out for your day. So, if we were to just look at the simple task of waking up in the morning and just getting out of your home, look at the number of things that have to be set right. So this is one thing that we always have to know about. That is, I'm really stressed about my work, and now the question is, I'm stressed about how am I going to manage my stress. So this is what our session is going to be all about. Can we move to the next slide, please? So before we move on, I would like each one of you to please keep a pen and paper or a notepad handy, because it's very important that I have some kind of interaction with you. And if you all have access to the chat box, please do send me an acknowledgement, or let me know that you have heard me, and you are willing to work with me, because only together can we achieve anything. All right. So are you able to hear me? If yes, please type in yes in the chat box. Now, what we need to understand is, I always have realized when we talk about stress, when we talk about confusion or anything else that is emotionally affecting us, there are three weapons that attack us. Now, the first weapon is that of fear. The second is that of guilt. And the third is that of regret. Now, what I want each one of you to do is this. Please take the notepad that I have asked you to take and make a note. What are the reasons that fear builds up within me? I'm repeating the question, what are the reasons that make me feel frightened or make me feel fear? So this is the first task that you need to do. That is to make a note about what are the reasons that fill me in with fear or make me frightened. Now, it can be anything. It can be from, I'm not prepared for my this one. I don't know what my future is all about. I don't, I am very frightened with the current situation that we are in. People are falling sick. We are losing lives. So many things. It can be anything. So please make a list of that. The second is, what are the few things that I feel guilty about? That also can be anything. I feel very guilty. I'm just giving you an example. I feel very guilty about the fact that I have spent an entire year doing nothing. Okay. Now, that is something that I feel really guilty about. Now, another question is this weapon of regret. Now, what are the reasons that I feel very, I regret now? So I'll give you an example. I can have a regret that when before the pandemic time, when I had a lot of time in my hands, when I had the ability to go out and do things, I was not doing it because I felt I had all the time in the world. Okay, so I was always looking for reasons to probably today I will not do this, I'll leave it for tomorrow. Like that, I kept doing it. But today I regret not making use of the time, and also the beautiful times where I could interact with people face to face, probably go and meet up with people and make use of all the I think the opportunities I had to meet people and interact with them, right? So that could be a reason of regret. I just gave you an example. So these things, the three weapons: fear, guilt, and regret. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So the first task is, please make a note of that. Okay. Now this note that I have asked you to make, it is only for yourself, because it is very important. Now it is very something that you need to know is what I'm asking you to do. It is not something only for the sake of presentation or for the sake of the session. This is something that I have practically done and I still do it. I probably do it every 6 months now, but I make a note and I do this activity of self introspection. So, the earlier activity, what I asked you to do is list down reasons that possibly any one of the three weapons, or maybe two weapons, or sometimes only one weapon has struck you. Because these are weapons that we should not entertain. Write the reasons that are there. Now, what you have to do is, after you list the reasons why these weapons attack you, what you need to do is sort out what is in your control and what is not. I'll give you an example. Now, suppose if I'm feeling frightened about the pandemic, I am feeling so frightened that a lot of people are losing their lives, and I'm feeling so scared about my future. I do not know what is happening. All this that is happening, even if I list it down, can I control the lives of other people? Can I control the virus? I personally cannot control, right? So that is not within my control. But in that, what is in my control? What is in my control is when the vaccine is allowed for me, I will take my first dose of vaccine, second dose of vaccine. Even then, I will wear a mask when I go out. If possible, I will double mask. I will maintain social distance. I will use a sanitizer. I will not go out unnecessarily, and I will not go for large gatherings. All these are within my control, because then I would be a contributing factor to bringing the COVID pandemic numbers restricted, to bring down, to flatten the curve. That is the way I could contribute. But I cannot get frightened and worried and feel miserable about what is happening outside. So you should be able to understand what is in my control, I will do it. What is not in my control, I'm not going to let the three weapons to attack me. All right. So this is the first activity that you need to do. I don't know if y'all can reply in the chat box. If you're doing it, please type in yes, so I would get a feedback. Can we move to the next slide, please? Now, what happens when we are stressed out? As much as I have done all that you heard, I have worked, I have been doing a lot of sessions helping people to come out, but I'm a human being, right? So, as a human being, as a woman, as a mother, I have a lot of responsibility which I need to ensure that I do it to the best of my ability. There are people who are dependent on me. Now, I'm not only responsible for myself, I'm also responsible for those around me. If I'm a child, I'm not only responsible for myself, I'm also responsible to be a part of the home and also make sure that I am a part of the family. So I have to contribute in some ways I can to the family, for the peace, for the happiness, and for the togetherness of the. So we all have certain responsibilities we have, right? So stress is a part of life. I too go through stress. It is only about how do we manage these, all right? So once we feel stressed, what happens is sometimes we do our job. Forget about job as profession. We also do what we have to do in our homes just as our duty. Most of the time, it becomes a half hearted and half done work. We are not happy about it. Again, the three weapons that I spoke to you about, again, guilt will start hitting us. So that weapon struck us. Now, if the guilt strikes us, then we start worrying, now what? I didn't do it well. I don't think I'm able to focus here. And then fear starts setting in. So it is like a cycle. The weapon starts striking, right? So if stress comes in, we start doing our job half-heartedly, or sometimes we just do our job for the sake of it. Or worst, we sometimes can reach a point of saying, I don't think I can do this. As a student, sometimes now with all these online classes can be such I would say a pain. See, now I'm doing a webinar. Trust me, when I was doing live face-to-face sessions, I could interact with everybody, talk to everybody. There is a togetherness, there is a bonding, and I get instant feedback. I know what people are doing, and there is an energy there. But when it comes to online, as much as people were talking about, the world is going to go online and that is the future, trust me, today people have realized that no matter what, nothing can replace human interaction. That is something that is so valuable a commodity, right? So it is not easy. I know all of y'all as teachers or as professors and as well as students are going through this, interacting with a platform which is very unsure. Am I being listened to? Are people getting what they have to get? It is all in question, right? So it starts taking a toll on you. And when it takes a toll on you, again, it goes back to half hearted, half done work. I'm doing it for the sake. And then our confidence starts going down because the three weapons have attacked us, right? So this is how guilt and fear and regret and all this starts building within, and stress starts building up. Okay, so what do we do next? Move on to the next slide, please. So, what we have to understand is the only way, I'm telling you, that is the only way. I don't want to make it, I'm not a magician where I can just snap my finger and make things to work out for you. It's nothing about what I am telling you, or it's nothing about me. It is about you understanding from the session as to what you are willing to work towards, what you are willing to do for yourself. So you need to ask yourself, what are the changes you could make practically? All right, let's not make false promises to ourselves. Let's not try to do anything that we are pushing ourselves when we don't have the capability of doing it right now. Okay, so let's be practical. So, what are the changes you could make practically from your side to counter the three weapons I spoke to you about? Okay, so this is a very important question. Now, let's take, I'm going to give you all a question. Okay, now, what is the fact? The fact is, we are living in a pandemic time. The whole world is going through very similar situations that we are going through. Some countries are moving on positively, some countries are not. But then what is happening is the fact. Now, we cannot do anything about it right now as individuals. Okay, now, what you can do is sitting here. Now, what is the change that I could do? Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. Now, earlier when the lockdown happened, people were very enthusiastic. The good part is everybody explored what they could do sitting in their homes. So if you were to see online itself, people explored different OTT platforms. People started learning different forms of art like painting, dancing, all these, they people started cooking, people started sitting together, playing together within their homes. So it was also, let's look at the pandemic also being a reason for families to sometimes do things together, to explore their talent, and also explore various options when one does not work. All right. So people started finding out different options rather than sitting and getting everything that is working for them. So there was a good also. So because we have identified that we are capable of doing that. Now, what are the changes that you could make? Okay, so one is, let me tell you what I have done. I don't want fear to grip me. So I analyzed what are the reasons now that I could have fear. I fear when I'm not ready for something that I have committed to. So two options I chose for myself is one, either I would not take more commitments than I can put my energy towards, or second, if I'm taking a commitment also, I will keep them informed and I will not do anything last minute. I would prepare 2 days in advance. Okay, nothing last minute. So these are the only two things. Is it possible? The answer is yes, because I made sure that instead of working on so much, I decided I will only take this, because now I have an added responsibility on my head, is that each member in the family is under the same roof. Nobody is going out. So the overheads of what I have to look after, whom I have to look after, has increased, right? So I might as well reduce anything else that is going to create stress for me. So this is practical. As a student, what you could do is, sometimes we tend to use a lot of Instagram is something that you can get addicted to, then Facebook is something you can get addicted to, then YouTube videos one after the other. Now these are I would never say social media is bad, trust me, because the world is functioning because of all these things that are possible for us. But what you could do is, what is the change that when you are doing something, be present in the moment. At that time, you don't have to do anything continuously for 1 hour. If your attention span is only 10 minutes, you say, for the 10 minutes, I'm only going to focus on this. I'm going to keep everything else aside. Now, this is something that you can do even as adults, okay, as parents or teachers or anything. It goes across. If it is at home, if you are sitting with a family member, keep your phone away, keep everything away. I'm going to sit with you only for 5 minutes. But in that 5 minutes, I'm going to be present in the conversation. I'm going to be a listener to you. I'm going to be a person who speaks, and I'm going to be present in the moment. Is that something that we could do? Is it a possibility? Yes. These are changes that we can do, practical, and this will help us to counter the weapons. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Yes. The next slide, please. So what this is something that I've seen, a lot of people. This is called a stress ball. Okay, if you see, it's mighty ball, you can call it. It's a stress ball. So ideally, what is a stress ball? So you just squeeze. Okay, you press. So it is your nerves. It activates. It makes you feel more relaxed when you you just automatically. It is more about a focus. So I want you to list down, if I have to get out of my stress, okay? Each one of you just think, what are the reasons that are being affected, or what is it that is being affected because I'm stressed out? Okay, I'm not going to list out the answers, but you have to, because it is different for each person. Okay, if I were to give you an example, when I'm stressed out, I cannot function. I cannot even talk to another person. When I'm stressed out, I become like, a zombie. So that is the way I am when I'm stressed out. You may be different. So the first thing is, what is it that happens to you when you go through stress? Please list it down. Okay. Now, suppose if you have listed down something as, I'm not able to focus. Let's just take an example. Okay. Now, because of this, if you're not able to, it's like the stress ball. Okay. If you're not able to focus, what you have to do is this. When I go through stress, I'm not able to focus. So, what is the task that I have at hand? So, first you have to write task. Okay. Then you have to write, for fulfilling this task, what are the requirements that have to be fulfilled? Third, you need, what is my preparedness for the requirements to complete the task? You have to get these three written. So, like that, whatever happens to you when you go through stress, I just gave you this one for focus. So, whatever you go through, you need to list it down and you have to write. For focus, it would be, to focus, you need to first understand the task, understand the requirements, and then you have to write down the preparedness for the requirements and start working on each one by one. Now, many a times, what happens is, stress is by other people, right? Sometimes we always blame, this is the reason why I'm stressed, he or she is the reason I'm stressed, that situation is the reason I'm stressed. Now, maybe go to the next slide. As a little joke that, okay, so we have this stress ball, right? So this, I found it very interesting. Okay. a cartoon, the Minion cartoon. So you have the stress ball. Sometimes the stress ball, it is not for throwing at people who stress you out, okay? Because each person behaves in the capacity or capability that they are made out to be. I always believe that my energy should be used to the best possible, in the best possible manner. So there are certain people I'm responsible for, certain people who definitely I make a difference to and who will make a difference to me, and they matter to me. Now, if those people also, if they have the ability to sit with you, have a lovely conversation, and together it is give and take in the conversation, and if both of you are willing to work on it, then it makes sense, me taking that extra time or energy. Now, suppose if it is not the case, then that is where you understand that the stress ball you have in your hand, it is not for throwing at them. But what you have to do is sit back, hold the stress ball in your hand, and think. You, yes, take your time, gather all your fingers together, and you think, because the thoughts are yours, your plan of action should be yours, all right? Because that is the only thing that is going to help you to be resilient. Can we move on to the next slide? Yes, it is resilience. That is like how the stress ball is. You throw it on the wall, it comes back, right? You throw it on the floor, it comes back. That means resilience is a bounce back that each one of us, it is a quality that each one of us has to build within, because it is okay to fall, but it is not okay to lie down there, right? It is okay to fall. It is okay to wait for somebody to pick you up, but it's not okay to continue waiting for somebody to pick you up and lie there for a very long time. So, in my book, To Win Your Battle, Stay Alive, I have there's a poetry, as Dr. Shanta had mentioned. It is called Clutching My Fist, Came I to This World. It is a very I found it very intriguing and very interesting to see every baby comes into the world like this. And I looked, yeah, sometimes babies come out like this today's times, but when they sleep like this. So uh, I have, maybe the artistic side of me pondered upon. We all came to this world with strength, bravery, hope, so much of love inside our hearts, inside. It was our strength that we came with, right? And what happens is, with understanding what the society is about, understanding what other people need from us, we start finding out, this is what I need to fulfill. Second, this is what I need to fulfill. Like that, slowly we open our fingers and we become empty and we feel empty, right? But if we have come to the world like this, understand our hands may open, but this is the time we need to clutch our fist again. Now, this is the pandemic. We are going through a difficult time, but clutch your fist again. But this time, the strength that you draw within. If we have fallen 100 times to stand up as a child, I think if we may have situations where we feel we are going to fall, but we can always stand up again, clutch your fist, because you have the energy and you have the strength within. It is only a matter of exploring it. Maybe go to the next slide. Now, what we need to target at is to get and find emotional stability. When it comes to stability, it is about to be able to find a right balance. I would say finding a right balance in yourself. Today, like I have just given you these thoughts. As the saying goes, it should be a thought that is put forth towards you. It will always remain a thought and out there if you don't make it practical and start making it a part of your action. For that, the initiative has to come from you. I cannot do that. I cannot give you 2 kilos of initiative, 5 kilos of initiative, 10. I cannot. The initiative, no matter, even if it is 100 grams that is coming from you, that is what will make the difference. So the initiative should be from you. Maybe move to the next slide, please. Now, so to gain emotional stability, I'm just going to give you three things that you can easily remember. One is a readiness, okay? To get ready or for anything that we need to be ready, we need to first know what is it that we are trying to do, okay? For readiness, please make a note. What is it that you are trying to do? What is it that you are targeting? What is it that your purpose is? When we are talking about purpose, you don't even have to think like 10 years from now or 5 years from now. I would say, let's take our purpose for each hour on an hourly basis, okay? Day to day basis or hourly basis. Because in this, we have all the time in this world, in this lockdown and the pandemic. So, why do we have to focus on 5 years from now, right now? So, let's take hourly basis or day to day basis. Take a book, you write down for today or tomorrow, like the previous, always write the previous day. For tomorrow, this is what I plan to do. Okay, then if that is my plan, how do I go about it? You can write, put numbers as to this is what I'll do first, second this is what I'll do, third this is what I'll do. Put a number to how you plan to progress in your day after you list down what you have to do. Now, appreciation is a very, very important aspect about building emotional stability. I have always met people and I have interacted with people, even as a person. If I were to look years back, there was a time unknowingly we start looking to others to get appreciation. But we need to learn to appreciate ourselves. If you ask me, do I appreciate myself? Yes, I do. End of the day, I take the list of things I had planned for the day. I see how many I tick. What all have I done? And I tell myself, good job done for today. Now let's plan for the next day. So, what happens is you stop seeking external validation and you stop looking for that one appreciation. Your focus becomes on how best can I do my work that I have planned for myself. It is so important because when we are able to give in our best, that is when we feel so content with what we have done. We have no regrets about the previous day. We don't feel guilty about a job that is not done or I just did it for the sake of it. And you have no fear of not being prepared for what is there for us the next day. So, these three things in a plan: readiness, smart, and appreciation. What smart? You know, that is, be specific about what you plan to do, be very sure about I'm capable of doing only so much or I'm capable of doing so much. Be very sure that this is all I'm going to take on my plate. I always give an example of a buffet. When we go to a hotel, there's a buffet there. You may see everything that is, dishes are so tasty, so nice, the buffet spread is so nice, but if you decide to take everything in large quantities on your plate, you're not able to relish the meal, you're not able to finish it, you're going to waste, and at the same time, you're going to feel so heavy after eating, you're not going to feel good about it. So, why do you want to do that? Just take on your plate what you are able to digest and what you're able to relish. It's very important. So, first is be specific, second, measurable. Third, only then can it be action oriented. In SMART, action oriented are realistic. This is all that I'm able to do. And T, time bound. As I told you, especially in today's time, what I follow is hourly basis. A plan for an hour or plan for 2 hours, plan for a day. That's it. Don't plan for 3, 4 days because we have no clue what's going to happen on the third or fourth day. So if you plan, sometimes you may not be able to live up to it, except for if you have a commitment, like how I have an appointment, that is something you can make a note of. But you don't have to put in too many things that you dream of doing or wish to do and then feel that, oh, I didn't do it, and start feeling sad and self pity yourself. That is something that we should not do. Can we move to the next slide? Now, this is something really interesting. It is called the Parkinson's Law. Now, have you ever? I face this. There are times when I see the clothes to be folded, and I think, oh my God, like I don't know when I'm going to complete this task. Look at the clothes that are piled up. I don't know when I'm going to complete it. The more I think about it, the clothes start piling up, piling up, piling up. It's like a big mountain that's going to. So, whatever that we have to do, our thought starts making it. If the work is so much, I think so much. So, the work expands to fill the time for it. The more we delay, the work starts expanding because now it has started worrying me also. So, the work is on my head, and now what I have the fear that this is going to each day pile up. I feel terrible about it. I feel guilty about it. And I feel that I'm not doing a good job. So the weight starts increasing, increasing. So the work expands to fill the time for its completion, right? This is the Parkinson's law. So as we procrastinate and delay what we have to do, the work itself starts expanding. But actually, it is not the case. When you see something, you just start doing it. Don't think and ponder and think that tomorrow I'll do it. No. Right now, I thought about it. Am I free? The answer is yes. Then go ahead and start doing it. Next slide, please. Now, this is something I would really recommend for all of you to do. This is nothing that I can tell you, but please, what do you intend to do for yourself? Okay? What do you intend to do for your family? What do you intend to do for your household? What do you intend to do for your career? Now, this is something that you have to figure out for yourself. Okay. Now, when you are thinking about doing something for yourself, don't think today that, okay, for myself, I'm going to climb Mount Everest. Okay. Don't do that right now. Right now, whatever your mindset is, whatever you are feeling, try to do something that is again smart, specific, measurable, action oriented, realistic, and time bound. A simple thing, what I can do for myself is, Jeff, I'm going to make sure that I dress up for the day, each day, even if I'm sitting at home. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to read one paragraph of a book and develop my reading habit. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. So, like that, for your family together. Okay, I'm just going to make sure that we all have a lunch or one meal together. It is possible. So, like that, for the household. Okay, I'm going to probably wipe the fans. I'm going to do this. Anything. Your career. For my career, right now, I understand that we are going through a pandemic. Everything has slowed down. Yes, work has slowed down. Colleges are not functioning, physically functioning, but that does not stop you from upskilling, right? What all can you do so that you are going to be a better version, a better skilled person by the time everything becomes normal and things are going to get back? That is important because you cannot, when everything was normal, you waited for a time that I hope I get some time for myself so that I can be better. Today, then we have all the time for us. Again, we say, I hope, I have a better time. No, the time is never going to get better. The fact is, we need to start thinking about how we can manage everything better by being better version of ourselves. So the best thing, as it is said in the book To Win Your Battle, Stay Alive, the best thing is to say, how can I be better than what I was the previous day? Let's just take one day at a time. Today, I will be better than what I was the previous day. So, what happens is we start working on ourselves and we start measuring our progress. It is not competition, but looking at our progress. It's very important. Next slide, please. So, I want all of you to list out your plans for your personal growth. Personal growth is not about becoming an engineer, doctor, MBA, whatever career you. It is not about that. Personal growth is something that is, sometimes we can get a certificate, but we still are not educated, I would say. Education is not about getting your certificates. Education is about how much do you know and how much can you make it simple enough to communicate with anybody at any point of time. How much can you think for the betterness of the society? How much can you contribute when it is needed? How much are you going to be able to give somebody else strength? So there is so much when it comes to education. It is all a personal growth. It is a personal quality that you develop. So I want you to be able to list out your plans for your personal growth. There are several methods. Right now, I don't have the time to help you. So please list it out, the plans for your personal growth. Next slide, please. Now, let's create a plan of action for ourselves. That is, I'm giving you a task. That is, choose only 2 tasks, not more than that. 2 tasks for yourself. Use the SMART technique, as I said. For both the task, create SMART. Be very specific about what you want in that task. Make it measurable, how much you can complete on an hourly basis or 10 minutes basis. Okay. And you have to make it action oriented, that this is what, and if you decide that, try to complete it, keep away distractions, be present in the moment. Let it be realistic and time bound. Okay. And start today. Just take, don't say, okay, I heard all this, now I'll start tomorrow. Again, you're procrastinating. No. Take 2 tasks, at least write it down and create an action plan. I think that is a possibility. You can do today, start today. Next slide, please. Now, the one solution that has always helped me is 3, 2, 1, start. Okay? If I think something, I'm not going to, but then for that, I need to do this, for that, nothing. So the thought came, I take a paper and pen, 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, this is what I plan of action, SMART. What is specific about it? I write, okay, fine. Now, task 1, first thing. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. 3, 2, 1, start. Now, this is, I would say it is a medicine, a remedy, a solution. 3, 2, 1, start. All right. So I want you to understand when we talk about stress, stress is something that is a part of you. There is nobody in this world, no matter how you can be rich, you can be poor, you can be famous, you can be anything. All right. But stress is a part of human being human. I think even an animal goes through its own stress. A baby has their own stress. When will I get milk? Okay, so stress is obviously there. So I want all of you to understand that stress is a part of being human. So what can be done is you have to understand, you have to be able to help yourself to be resilient. For that, you need to bounce back. To bounce back, you have to understand what is in your control and what is not in your control. You should be able to mark your priorities. And with that, you have to start living. Starting to live is only possible when you know what you want for yourself. If we have no idea about that, how can you expect somebody else to give ideas for you to live? No. You know what is best for you. You know what is best that you require or envision for yourself. Again, I say the standard of the life the quality of the life that you lead is dependent on the standards that you set for yourself. You be very clear as to this is how I want the quality of my life to be. If that is what I want for myself, this is what I will work towards. Create the plan, start following it, be smart about it. 3, 2, 1, start. Start today. Next slide, please. So I would really want all of you to start living, and I hope I get to meet all of you in person, and I would love to interact with all of you. It would be really nice if you could start applying whatever I told you, make it a part of your daily practice, I would say, a daily routine We need a discipline. If we have that, trust me, a lot of it can be managed. It lies in our own hands. It is not something that somebody else can come and help you, because each one has their own stress. Most of the time people don't talk about it. Yeah. So please understand, people have their own stress to manage. It's very important that we learn to manage our own stress. All right. Thank you very much. Nice being with all of you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I am A. Kavita, convener, Women Empowerment Cell, and I'm feeling privileged to propose vote of thanks for this event. I thank Ms. Anita Peter for her informative and comprehensive talk, and special thanks to her for her ready acceptance to our invitation. And as you told, we'll clutch our fist again to stand and have energy and get ready to face any challenge in our lives, ma'am. Thank you very much. And I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. Meka Ramesh Garu, Sri B. Baburao, our director, sir, and Dean, Professor Rajesh C. Jampala, for their encouragement and motivation to organize this webinar. Our special thanks to Sridhar sir for his guidance, and we thank Fanikumar sir for his technical support, and I would also like Dr. K. Shantakumari madam for acting as moderator for this event. And I extend my thanks to the Women Empowerment Cell and team for their combined work, and thank each and every participant who had made this event a grand success. And I also request you to give your valuable feedbacks. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Kindly note down the feedback link and give your valuable feedbacks, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
All the participants are requested to give your feedbacks. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Kavita Garu, and I thank the college, Siddhartha College, for giving this beautiful opportunity to be able to interact with all of you. It's been my honor and pleasure, the privilege to be with all of you. Thank you.
Most welcome, ma'am. I request all the participants to give the feedback.